You know, in my past life as a pipe fitter, I could cuss with the worst of them, and I did that for a bunch of years, and I realized it wasn't for me. So when the industrial area of Great Northern Way began to become converted to a university, I took the opportunity to put up this sign, this piece of graffiti, that it was only seen at night, and it was. I never went to no Vancouver school. And when I changed my profession from pipe fitting to art, within 4 years, I received this commission here in right downtown Vancouver. And I knew I was on the right path. And glass captured my attention right away. And from there, it stuck with me. And when people ask me, if I have any words of advice for people who are wanting to get into glass, I say, run away from it. It'll ruin your life. It grabs you and it doesn't let you go. So these are pieces that I've done over the years. I've worked with architects like Bing Tom on houses. I've been invited to participate in exhibitions. This one was in Milan at the Triennale. There was a competition. What would you do in Milan? So I proposed a world clock. Sir Stamford Fleming, who was a Canadian, he devised the time zones, which became the time zones around the world. And Milan had the first town clock, so I thought that was a good idea. Worked with a group of other designers, and we formed an organization called BARC, and we put on exhibitions showcasing Canada's human resources, not our natural resources. And we made this all-terrain cabin, and we shipped it around Canada and down to the States, and we talked about the creativity that was that's here in Canada, the talent that's here. Commissioned works that I do, such as this, they're very intimate and personal to the people that I create them for. This was to emulate the North Pacific sky that was inside the room. Likewise, this ceiling in the same residence. They were sad to leave their old property, which had these old growth trees, and so I said, well, I'll make an abstract representation of the light falling through those old growth trees, and did that down their hallway. So sort of being sensitive to place. This one was a commission in an old folks' home, and I asked myself, what can I offer these people who have had such a rich history in their life? So I gave them a landscape, an Arctic landscape that was constantly changing in light, and it was called The Time When This Arrives. This was a proposal for the city of Vancouver. It was called the Celebration of Rain. At times you have to put out the ideas and you compete on quite a level as artists. Very seldom do you win, but at times there's still these wonderful ideas that come about. This one, in the summertime, it's a torrential downpour. On those rainy, dark days, it blows up with light and is very happy and festive. This is my studio. It's the very first building I ever designed and built. And when we moved up here to Roberts Creek 5 years ago, the studio was open approximately 2 years ago, and this is my home now. This is where I am. Here's an application of slab glass. That I had to create equipment to take waste material, crush it down, so I could recast it. And this is what I cast it into: big, massive slabs of glass, and then put them together and make water features and the like. And so I would repurpose old equipment and make it work into my needs. This was a sculpture commission. When I got there, I was looking at where he wanted me to put the sculpture out on the thing. I said, "You don't need a sculpture. You need your deck redesigned." So I ripped out his whole deck, and this is what I did. I designed the furniture for him, and it became a installation in itself. This is one of the most recent public commissions that I did for the Cloverdale Recreation Center. Those images are satellite images of Cloverdale, and then I animated them. They turn, they're illuminated, and there's two pieces I made for them: flow and variation of flow. This was another competition that I entered for the City Hall in Surrey, and what I proposed was a huge sort of wheel of Dharma inside the foyer. which would be constantly moving. They have a very large Asian population over there, and I thought that was rather fitting for that region. And that was actually, that's in Wally. That was the tough part of Surrey. That's where I grew up, so there's sort of street smarts there. Recently here, TEDx, this was a really fun project, working with a bunch of very talented and very energetic people, and I was lucky enough to receive the request to design the set. There's these balls that I made for TEDx, and I started realizing people really dig them when they're on a truck. And so I made art truck, I bombed around the city, and people would come up to me. They thought I was just a delivery guy. And they're like, what is this? And everybody had a different story about, or realization what it was. Also recent work of mine and this is inspired by the curly bark that you find on the beach here on the coast, and just taking glass and just heating it up and just winding it up, and this is something that's going to be going on for the next couple of years, and I'm really excited about that. So there's a handful of pieces. This is a fun proposal I made just off the cuff for Roberts Creek Pier, which 2014 will be the 100th anniversary of the pier, and I thought, what a great thing. Celebrate it by putting a pavilion there, and let's use all that industrial waste that washes up on the beach that we're supposed to not touch because it's illegal. And I'm like, come on, we got talent here. Let's build it. This is just several weeks ago. Was down in the Baja. Talked a guy into allowing me to be artist in residence for a month in his apartment, and I'll create artwork. So salvage materials out in the desert, collecting cow and coyote and cow bones and making a sculpture for him. This is my last piece. This is where my path is. This is a platform to consider the consequences of one's own actions, and realizing that no matter where we are in our stage in life or the lives ahead, we can only go one step at a time, and there's many steps to go ahead. So get used to it. Thank you.